So after finishing the MyRise and collecting my thoughts and reflecting a little bit, I wanted to talk about it. Now this video is not to say that the MyRise story wasn't good, but more to say that with all the good that the MyRise stories have done since 2K22, that this year's story should have been the best one since they came back, and one of the best ever. So we all know that the story starts with Caleb Braxton and Byron Saxton giving us the rundown on how Romans dominated Cody and everybody in between to the point that nobody could get the belt off of him. He literally left and went to Hollywood and just left it up for grabs. That leads us to our protagonist, the Dark Horse, who has been in WWE for years with nothing to show for it. But that all changes when William Regal gives you an opportunity to enter the tournament for the Universal Championship. You manage to make it to the final up against Cody Rhodes, and that's where you see where this story is really going. Roman comes out and hands you a tainted victory by hitting Cody with a spear and letting you get the easy 1, 2, 3. And that caps off the start of a historically long, heavily scrutinized, underwhelming title reign. So because of this, throughout the entire story, your character is doubted at every turn, made to look like a fool and a laughingstock by Roman, Cody, Miz, and anybody else you can talk to backstage. And when it boils down to it, the whole story kind of just feels like you're waiting for Roman to show up. Don't get me wrong, you get a couple cool stories. The Kane thing is pretty cool. There are options that branch out to give the story more replayability and options for how our story goes. For example, the Xavier Woods, Gigi Dolan storyline. So there are a few memorable rivalries in this story, but not enough for what's supposed to be a legendary 3-year reign. I believe that they fumbled the whole 3-year surpassed Roman's reign. I feel like they fumbled that story tremendously. Like I said, it has its moments. Brock Lesnar F5 and Montez Ford on the stage out of nowhere. That was pretty cool. But this 3-year reign that our Dark Horse has with a time skip in the middle, it just doesn't live up to Roman's reign at all. I'm sorry, it's not what I saw. In real life right now in WWE, if anybody just won a world title and then they surpassed Roman's reign, do you think they would be talked to or treated like, or even perceived the way that the Dark Horse was throughout the entire story? It's like the game itself was telling you, his title reign was mid. If you find yourself disagreeing with me right now, and I could be wrong, go ahead right now, take a moment and count to yourself how many of those rivalries from the MyRise do you, 1, remember off top easily, 2, think back fondly of. All of the different rivalries or storylines were quick little 2-3 match stories with a cutscene in between maybe one of the matches and then move on to the next one. Not fleshed out at all. And not to mention that you receive most of your information and dialogue via text on social media. You remember in SmackDown versus Raw, they had the voice messages. Even if you weren't going to do a full cutscene, you would at least get voicemails from the people you were working with or having rivalries with. But once you finally beat everybody they set in front of your way to show that the Dark Horse is not a fluke champion, and Roman Reigns finally emerges from Hollywood like the coward that he is, and you do the task that they've been deeming impossible from the start of this story, and you finally take out Roman Reigns, what do? You get a WrestleMania MyRise arena, and you get kicked back to the main menu. You don't get to live in this world that you've created. You don't get to experience new commentary dialogue about how the Dark Horse conquered every challenge and became the GOAT. You don't even get to play any more matches. They literally kick you out of it. Even if it was just the old way of after you finish the story, you can talk to people backstage and have singles matches or give them title shots if you want. They could have just did that. I would have taken that, you know? And the last thing I'll say, and this doesn't have anything to do with the pacing of the story, but I'm not a fan of the whole matches ending in a cutscene thing. Unless it's done, it has to be done absolutely correct. Especially considering when you're giving us these showcase mode challenges in the match, we don't need, unless it's something that literally cannot be replicated in gameplay, like a move or like multiple run-ins, something that cannot be done in gameplay. That is the only reason you should be making me finish a match in a cutscene. Why do I have to play a long-ass War Games match? Wait till everybody comes out, until Cody Rhodes comes in. The moment Cody Rhodes get in the ring, the match is over via cutscene. Why do I gotta roll up Kevin Owens when I end up beating him like 6 times throughout the story anyway? I understand world building and progressing the story, but you can do that through commentary during a match. Or like I said, if it's gotta be done, then just do it in a way that makes it make sense. Don't make me play a whole match and then the match just gets thrown out. Like after I've been whooping somebody's ass for 10 minutes, I lose in a cutscene in 5 seconds. Nah, bro. But like I said, this video is not a takedown of the game mode. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm saying that it's good, and the previous 2 iterations of it before is built on that. And you can tell the people who are writing this, they're real wrestling fans. They make references to things that have happened in the past. They make references to things that happen off of TV, like shoot things. So you know there's real fans writing these stories. I would just like to be able to see them get in their bag a little. You know what I'm saying? I know I can't be the only person who want those medium to long length rivalries like they were in the old SmackDown versus Raw games. I know I'm not the only one. You got to make these rivalries feel like they matter. Like, you got to make it memorable. People still talk about the Day of Reckoning stories and the SmackDown versus Raw stories 2 decades later, like it just came out. These things matter. But that is all I got for y'all today, man. If you enjoyed this video, drop that like if you agree with me, or even if you disagree. Let me know why in the comments. And if you're new, make sure that you subscribe and turn on that bell notification. I'm D Brown DTA. Don't trust anybody. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next one.